The energy around Cleveland didn't shift quietly. It changed in a way you could feel, heavy and unmistakable, the kind of shift that tells you something deeper is happening beneath the surface. When Shador Sanders started speaking about leadership, respect, and the possibility of change surrounding Myles Garrett and the Browns, it wasn't just another interview moment. It felt like a pressure point being exposed, not because of drama, not because of rumors, but because of truth. The kind of truth that sits in locker rooms, in practice fields, and in the quiet spaces between wins and losses. The kind of truth that doesn't need shouting to be loud. Shedor's perspective didn't come from hype or talk. It came from observation, experience, and the grind of being inside a system that hasn't known stability. He spoke about leadership not as noise, but as presence, about men who don't need speeches because their work speaks for them. That's where Myles Garrett stands. Not loud, not performative, not dramatic, just consistent, dominant, and relentless. A standard, not a slogan. And that standard isn't something you're given, it's something you earn. Shedeur understood that immediately. He didn't claim respect, he didn't assume it. He treated it like a target, something to chase, something to work for, something that should never come easy. That mindset matters because of where it exists. Cleveland hasn't been a place of calm leadership or clear direction. It's been a place of pressure, confusion, and instability. Systems have shifted, roles have blurred, accountability has felt inconsistent. And in that chaos, young quarterbacks don't usually stay. They leave. They protect their futures. They look for exits. They move away from broken systems before those systems break them. That's what everyone expected Shedeur to do. When the offense struggled, when the culture felt unstable, when frustration grew louder, when fans were openly calling for escape. But he didn't run. He didn't hide. He stayed inside the storm and chose resistance instead of retreat. That choice alone separated him. Staying in a broken system isn't loyalty. It's toughness. It's risk. It's pressure. It's choosing to fight uphill instead of finding an easier road. And while the Browns struggled with execution, protection, consistency, and leadership gaps, Shedeur didn't shift blame. He absorbed the pressure and kept working. That's rare in a league built on leverage and leverage-based movement. It's easy to demand trades. It's easy to create narratives. It's easy to point fingers. It's hard to stay and build in chaos. The dysfunction wasn't limited to one player or one position. The offense broke down across the board. Protection failed. Receivers underperformed. Assignments were missed. Momentum disappeared. And while elite players were expected to carry the weight, the system around them kept cracking. Stars were forced into survival mode instead of growth mode. Frustration built naturally. That's not entitlement, that's reality. Elite talent doesn't want to waste seasons fighting dysfunction. The rumors around Myles Garrett wanting out didn't come from nowhere. They came from exhaustion, from pressure, from carrying a franchise that hasn't matched his consistency. And yet, while the media focused on trade possibilities, Shedeur focused on respect. Not public narratives, not headlines, not speculation. Respect. The kind built in silence. The kind built in preparation. The kind built in repetition and discipline. He didn't romanticize leadership. He defined it through action, through daily habits, through consistency, through accountability, through relationships built over time. He talked about calling veterans, learning from their mistakes, borrowing experience, growing mentally, not just physically. That's not quarterback talk. That's leadership development. That's someone learning how systems work, how pressure works, and how to survive environments that aren't built for stability. The most telling part of Shedeur's mindset is that he doesn't feel entitled to status. Even after production, even after pressure, even after carrying weight, he still sees himself as someone who has more to prove. That's not insecurity, that's discipline, that's hunger, that's understanding that leadership isn't assigned by title, it's granted by consistency. While that's happening, the organization itself remains unclear. Roles are undefined, futures are uncertain. Language like "to be determined" hangs in the air. That kind of language doesn't inspire confidence. It signals hesitation. It signals indecision. It signals fear of commitment. And in professional sports, hesitation kills trust faster than losses. When players don't know where they stand, uncertainty becomes culture, and culture shapes everything. Shedor's response to that uncertainty is what makes this story powerful. He doesn't spiral, he doesn't complain, he doesn't posture. He focuses inward, on daily goals, on small wins, on long-term growth, on controlling what he can control. That's mental toughness, that's maturity, that's the mindset of someone built for long careers, not short hype cycles. What makes this even more striking is the contrast between player mentality and organizational direction. While management hesitates, Shedeur sharpens. While systems stall, he evolves. While narratives swirl, he studies. While pressure builds, he steadies. That gap matters, because eventually, talent outgrows systems that can't support it. The waiting, the sidelining, the unclear rotations, the shifting narratives, the delayed opportunities, all test patience. They test identity. They test belief. Many players break there. Confidence fades. Motivation slips. Trust erodes. But Shedeur didn't turn bitter. He turned focused. He treated delay as development, pressure as preparation, resistance as training. That's not accidental. That's internal discipline. Even the media pressure didn't break him. Narratives tried to shape him. Stories questioned readiness. Doubt was amplified. Silence from leadership allowed noise to grow. But instead of fighting the media, he built himself. Instead of chasing validation, he chased growth. That's the difference between players who survive systems and players who change them. Myles Garrett represents one form of leadership: silent dominance, relentless work, presence without performance. Shedeur represents another: growth under pressure, development through adversity, leadership built in struggle. Together, they represent the kind of culture Cleveland says it wants but hasn't fully supported yet. This isn't just about football. It's about structure, systems, identity, direction, respect, leadership, growth, accountability, stability. The Browns don't just need better plays. They need clarity. They need commitment. They need trust. They need alignment between talent and leadership. Because when franchises fail to protect and empower their rising leaders, they don't just lose games, they lose loyalty, they lose culture, and eventually they lose players. Shador Sanders isn't just fighting for a role, he's fighting for identity, he's fighting for stability, he's fighting for respect, he's fighting to build something real inside a system that keeps hesitating. And every delay, every test, every obstacle is shaping him into something stronger, not smaller. This story isn't about trade rumors. It's not about headlines. It's not about speculation. It's about leadership being built under pressure. It's about respect being earned, not demanded. It's about growth through resistance. And it's about a player who refuses to let chaos define him. If you want more deep breakdowns like this, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the Browns are building around the right mindset, or are they slowly pushing their future leaders away? Is Shador Sanders being developed or being delayed? And do you believe Cleveland is creating a culture that keeps stars or one that eventually drives them out? Let's talk about it.